All right, so I just woke up this morning, and when I opened my Twitter, the first thing I saw is this post that says Mercy Chinwo slams VeryDarkMan 1.1 billion naira lawsuit for defamation. I scrolled again and I saw this. I scrolled again and I saw this. Then finally, I stumbled on one of the court processes. So it says between Mercy Chinwo blessed claimants and Martins Vincent Ote, aka VeryDarkMan defendant. So this is the order. I did not see A, B, and C. And I saw D. So let me read from D. An order of this honorable cause directing the defendant to write an unreserved apology to the claimant and publish same in 4 national dailies, causing same to run for at least 14 consecutive days. E. An order of this honorable court directing the defendants to pay the claimant the sum of 1 billion naira only as general damages for defamation. F. An order of this honorable court directing the defendant to pay the claimant the sum of 100 million naira only as punitive and aggravated damages for the grossly defamation statement. An order of this honorable court directing the defendants to pay the sum of 25 million naira as the cost of this suit. An order of this honorable court directing the defendants to pay 10% of the judgment sum per annum until the liquidation of the judgment sum by the defendant, and for such other orders as the court may deem fit to make in the circumstance. The writ was issued by Pelumi. Let me calculate it first. 1 billion plus 100 million, 1.1 plus 25 million, 1.1 plus 25. Body of Christ don't finally go court. So let me quickly cross-check all the people who don't sue me. As you can see, list of the people that have sued VeryDarkMan and how much the court have asked Islam with. Number 1, Femi Falana and Folani Falana, 500 million naira. Pastor Jeremiah Omoto Fefeyin, 1 billion naira. Chinedu Ani Nedu Wazobia, 500 million. Mercy Chinwo, 1.1 billion. Jollof Wife, 500 million. Bobrisky, 1 billion. Then ABC Transport Daughter. So basically, person were seeing Chinedu and Chinedu, 2 of them sue me. Wow. Now, so far so good. Anything will make me lose the case. I am paying the sum of 500 million plus 1 billion, that is 1.5, plus 500 million, that is 2 billion, plus 1.1, that is 3.1 billion, plus 500 million, that is 3.6 billion, plus 1 billion, that is 4.6 billion. Then 25 million conde. Then this transport daughter, I never see amounts where they put una go kill me. I not get money. So even the money they the end you say never reach like that. Now kill me. Now so you can see the body of Christ don't finally sue. I have God, they have bloggers, don't sue. But that's not the point. I know this case is not a case that I can go on with, so it would better make I just tender an apology. Initially, I won't say to Mercy Chinwo, wherever you lead me, I would go. That means more good court. But as I can't think, I can't say make I apologize. Mercy, your love is kind. Your love is patient. Don't let the devil use you. You fill my life with your music. With so much peace and joy when you hold the mic in church. You're amazing. Don't let lawyers push you. You make my life feel brand new anytime I hear your song. All your promises, they pain. Promise you never do this thing. You're not a man, you never lie. Now only man they lie, woman no they lie. Mercy, I love you too much, oh, too much, excess love, oh, too much, excess love, oh. This one now is to God. Chinedumo. Chinedumo, Chinedumo. You are taking it over. It's God that will take over this battle. Jesus, you are the one with glory. Chinedumo, Chinedumo, Unodumo. You will take everything over. Ah, Jesus, Jesus. Anyways, talk. Me, I'll soon be coming back to Nigeria. I don't know how we are going to do this, but me, I don't have 1 billion to pay you. You understand? Just in case you win, I don't get 1 billion, I won't pay. I beg. So, Mercy Chinwo, I beg. You let you want to beg. I'm not saying you should not sue. Please, just reduce the amount. And also, if let's say I don't really get respect for this Nigerian currency, anybody that wants to 1 billion, this billion, that billion. Too much now. For me, how much do I earn in a month? In my business, how much do I get? Please, if you, Balumi, please, what you let me do, beg Mercy. People should reduce the money, even if it's 5 million. 1 billion is too much, my brother. I won't see that money from. I don't earn in dollars now. I don't sing music. They don't pay this thing. They don't pay me now. They don't pay me. Anyways, I want to use this opportunity to start to present my own song, because I have written a song. Body of Christ, body of Christ, took me to cut me open. Ew, body of Christ, took me to cut me open for the world to see. Body of Christ, took me to cut me open. Chineke mo. Ekwesu oya kuna mi ekwesu oya kuna ekwesu. Coming out soon. Peace and love. Don't play. If you play, you're gonna learn. I can't learn the other. Bye.
You know, this is one of those moments that is really sad. It's kind of just it's demented to say the least. And the reason for that is because you can see someone like this gentleman who is absolutely coming out and making a mockery of everyone else who basically is suing somebody, especially those of us in the Christian community. And to remotely think that those who are in the Christian community are doing this, and you think that these are people who have given their lives to Christ on the basis that they have to win others to Christ, if this is the premise for which it is that you guys are out there doing what you're doing, then the reality is that you guys suck. That's just what it is. If this is the way in which you think that you will put anyone in order because they said something else that you don't like, and you just rush them to court and you sue them, I mean, I honestly have to say to you that you suck. All right. And this goes for the Polynesians of the world. This goes to the other gentleman, or whatever his name is, this is Papa G, or whatever to call him. Okay, this goes to all of these guys who basically just think that you can sue someone, especially if you are a minister, and you sue them because they said something else that was something that you didn't like, and then you basically just push them and then take them to court and sue them. This is a shame. It's a disgrace to the body of Christ. Frankly speaking, it's like it's just sickening to watch the mockery. I mean, look at Very Dark Man. I think that's his name. Look at Very Dark Man and see the level of mockery that he's brought to this young lady. I don't know who is advising her. I don't know exactly what the reason for that is even. All right, there's just been a lot of issues. I mean, why even push this stuff further? I mean, how does this help the body of Christ? I mean, how does this, and then we sing these songs, right? And then we do all of these things because we are telling the world we are doing it for God and whatnot. And then when we start behaving this way, all right, then I wonder who we are winning. I wonder, I mean, this is a losing battle. I want you to understand that the amount of young people who are basically walking away from Christianity, and they're doing so on the premise that the so-called elites in the Christendom, I'm talking about your papas, these men with private jets. I'm talking about these guys who own these enterprises where they basically tax people on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in terms of tithes, offerings, and seeds. And they do so that they can live this lifestyle that nobody else can live. I don't know exactly whether even someone like Dangote, who legitimately, made his money from hard work and basically selling something or the other, starting up a business, starting up a company. I don't think that guy lives as large as most of our pastors do. All right. But it never used to be like this. This whole entire thing, I think it began with, the onset of somebody like Benson Dawusa. And I'm not trying to throw shit at Benson Dawusa, but I'm just saying that when the prosperity gospel basically showed up on the continent of Africa, it started in Nigeria. And I think that men like Benson Dawusa was quite instrumental. I've heard Benson Dawusa, on tape says that you cannot talk about the gospel of prosperity in Africa or maybe in Nigeria if his name is not called. Frankly speaking, yes, of course, because he brought that. And I don't think that pastors should be poor either. But if you're going to be a pastor and if you really want to be rich, you should be able to do something else. I am not saying that you should collect people's money in church in terms of tithes and offerings to go serve your own business. No, I'm saying that you should be able to have some level of wealth. You should have done something in the secular world to be able to help you now maintain that while you come to Christ. I really think that there is something to be said about people who basically are in the secular world, who are making money, and then somewhat transition from that into church and begin to talk about God's work. The entire notion that God called you, God called Paul too, but Paul was walking. All right. Paul was a tent maker. Everywhere he went, he was absolutely, involved in his business and was also helping other people in doing their own business. I'm talking about Paul, the apostle in scriptures in the book of Acts. So there has to be something, there has to be a way in which you're able to help yourself, take care of you, take care of a family, and make sure you can get things done. But this whole entire notion where it's become more of a cult-like mentality, where we basically have grown to a level of stardom. We've become so iconoclastic. All right. We have these stars, man. You look like you're out here in Hollywood. Okay. You're behaving like a Hollywood celebrity. All right. And so nobody can talk to you. Anybody says anything about you, you take offense about it. Nobody can say anything to you because you're too big to be touched and you're full of yourself. And frankly speaking, you've built this empire around you. You're the most celebrated entity. And at the end, anybody else who say anything to you says that they're on peril. I've had people who have been locked up because they basically questioned the type of healings that, some of these guys were performing, and they've been locked up. Or there's a guy, Daniel, who just locked up by Paul and Nature for the basic reason that he basically says some of the miracles do not even exist, or some of this healing stuff don't exist and whatnot. I mean, why don't you take that stuff to God, man? If you really, if you really dealing with God, I think God should fight for you, right? Or what? Have we become like people of the faith where we have to pull out knives and daggers and basically rip people's stomachs open because they said something about your God? Or is your God too weak to be able to help you, to fight for you, that you have to start fighting for your God? Is that supposed to be Christianity? I don't know. But frankly speaking, with very dark man, coming out with this whole entire stuff, I think it's quite shameful. I mean, to say this, I think it's quite shameful. This is crazy. Man, well, I think it's getting really interesting. The body of Christ is getting really interesting, especially in Nigeria. And frankly speaking, around the world. It's getting quite interesting. This is scary.